This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, along with Devin Booth in the booth with the booth. We are here for the August Simpit Patron Appreciation Race. Thank you all for watching. Devin Booth, thank you for being here with me today. How are you?
Doing well. Ready to watch some good racing.
You know what? I've been waiting for this combo. So after last month's Patron Appreciation Race, we ran the Formula Wee, as I like to call it. And I call it the Wee for two reasons. A, you can call it a wee little car. And the other is, in a pack, it is a lot of fun. It is wee like a roller coaster. We're here at Okayama, which I think is actually a track that at some points does suit this car fairly well, and other points it's a little long in the leg for this car. But it should make for really good passing opportunities and a lot of action, which is perfect. It's a perfect recipe for what we have going on today with this patron race. We have two races. Right now, all of our contestants are out under qualifying conditions, so we can't see them. We're just looking at some beautiful scenic shots of Okayama. But our driver's out there in qualifying. But when they get out here, it is going to be a dogfight. You are going to see, I'm guessing, 4 wide down the backstretch. What do you think?
These guys are going to pick up a lot of draft. They may be small and they may not be going fast, but you've got a couple straights on this one that for sure they're going to pick up draft. We're going to see 2 and 3 wide for sure. 4 wide's definitely not out of the question.
Yeah, and in what we saw last week, the inverted grid played a significant role because you had the guys who had scored top points in race number 1, our 20-minute race, and they were then starting in the 6th, 7th, 8th spot for race number 2, and that proved to be very difficult and come back and haunt. So we found that consistency was the winner of the race. Dave Danger Blair, had a great weekend last month, and he won the race. So
He certainly wasn't dangerous that week.
What's that?
He certainly wasn't dangerous that week.
No, he stayed out of all of the danger, funny enough, and that's what it was all about. And that's the thing. These cars, it's hard to really get away. If you have somebody who's even reasonably matched with you, it is going to be really hard to shake them. And with that, it means that you're always driving on the edge. The other thing about this car, I will say, even at those moments that you think you have it all locked up and you're all alone, 1 extra percentage of brake pedal on corner entry could be the reason that the tail comes around on this little Formula Wee. It is a handful of a little car. It is not fast, and it is quite capable, but it is, I would actually say it's one of the more dangerous or more difficult cars to drive on the edge because, again, 1 false move and the tail becomes the front in this car. And we saw that last month.
Indeed, it wraps very easily. Not fast, but lots of fun to race. And I mean, the imbalance makes it more fun to race. I think that's not a con by any means. And it looks like our first times are coming around. George Sandman out in the lead at the moment. Terry Crouch, both guys that are quite quick. Brandon Waters turning out, which is awesome as well, in 3rd position at the moment. Those guys all running 51s. The top 3 are going to be fun to watch.
We have some names, so I look at this group, past winners up there on the board. Terry Crouch, Sam Hinchey have all won previously. Looking back in the grid, I believe Tom Dudek has won one of these. Tyson Landis has won. And some big hitters in this crowd who definitely could be a factor. Brandon Waters, he's been on a work thing that has not allowed him to race over the last few months. But he did show up spontaneously for an Assetto Corsa race not long ago and whipped up on everybody. So Brandon Waters, in his absence, hasn't lost anything, and he could be one of those big factors today. Look, Sam Hinchey sitting in the 3rd spot. Yeah, this is gonna be a dogfight. I'm looking at Amir Assad is right on the heels of those guys' times, and I cannot imagine, Amir is really good at finding that draft and staying with them, and even being a little off the pace, I wouldn't be surprised to see him putting moves on guys quite a bit quicker. He's one of those kind of drivers. I'd even dare say aggressive. Amir is not going to give anybody any extra room today. He's definitely going to be looking for a trophy. Speaking of trophy, we do have 5 minutes to kill, so why don't I really quickly... This is, and I should first apologize to Dave Blair, because this is this month's trophy is actually printing as we speak, but that is last month's trophy for Dave Blair, who won in the Formula V combined event at Summit Point. And I'm very proud of these trophies. I put a lot of time and energy into the design and building of the trophies. So a trophy very similar to this one. The biggest difference will be that it will have a Japanese flag colors, and it will have, of course, the layout of Okayama instead, but will still be in the Formula V. So it'll be a somewhat similar trophy that is on the line for today.
Speaking of which, George Sandman just dropped down a second. Terry Crouch putting his foot out there, trying to get that said trophy with a 151.0, almost into the 150s. Sandman, though, about to finish his third lap. He's just getting into the back. Brandon Waters and Sam Hinchy as well, both in the 151s. And like you say earlier, draft will be a thing, and these guys are all close enough. You know, George is going to draft Terry, Brandon's going to draft George, and so on and so forth through the grid, right all the way back from the looks of things.
All the way to back.
It's possible, yeah.
I'm
Dudek's going to have plenty of draft to learn from.
And they're both a little off of their practice time, so trying to get it in qualifying a little more difficult. It does take, that's another factor. In the beginning, when they are the most grouped, the most bunched up, these cars on cold tires are downright sketchy. Talking turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, and it could actually be real difficult being on that inside edge. We saw at Summit, in fact, the inside-outside line was a big factor, and a lot of that came down to grip, not only when on cold tires, but even when things got heated up.
Just caught Sandman taking an off track on his last lap.
Heiko Sherman, a previous winner, looking at his trophy during our stream. Thank you, Heiko. Congratulations to you.
Welcome, buddy. Everybody's getting to a close here. I think we're pretty well safe to read through the grid. We got 1:50 left. Like you said, 8 minutes through, 10-minute qualifier. And I'm just doing a quick double check. Yeah, it looks like we're good. So that's going to be it, boys. Terry Crouch in first with a 151.038. George Sandman in second with a 151.168. And Brandon Waters in third with a 151.588. Sam Hinchy and Wayne Roberts round out your top 5. David Payne, Brian Ostrick, Amir Sott, David Blair, and Kenneth Estep round out the top 10 with Callum McLeod, Lonnie Jameson, Andrew White, and Thomas Dudek bringing out the rest of the field. For now, I believe there was 15 cars, so there might be one not qualifying. Tyson Landis,
yeah.
Well.
What a familiar sight, though. Terry Crouch and George Sandman once again setting the standard for the battle royale, the shootout. I think these two have been going at it now for 3 races in a row, trying to get top position. And in some ways, it's come back to haunt the both of them. Very, very talented drivers, and both would love to win that trophy today. So we will be rooting for all of them, of course. What I'm rooting for is a great race, and I think we're almost guaranteed of that. Just a reminder, everybody watching, we are doing a 2-race format. Race number 1 will be timed 20-minute race, and race number 2 will be timed 15-minute race. We are going to take the top 8 positions. We are going to invert them for race number 2. And the lowest point score, you score 1 point per position in each race, and the lowest point score will be the winner in our dual race event that is about to kick off here in just about 30 to 45 seconds. So in our view here, you see a picture-in-picture in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. We will focus that on the leader of the race. We'll just stick with the leader all race long, be able to see what's going on with him lap after lap. And then I and Devin will do our best to stay on top of the action on the main screen here. And you should have your standings and relatives screen once everything gets sorted out. So you should have a lot of information keeping you informed of what's going on, as we do look like we're getting ready to grid up. Yep, 2-minute grid now on the clock. And I should be, it looks like my thing did click to leader of the race, so that's a good sign. Or at least it switched to the grid. Let's see here. I'm going to see, is Terry on the grid yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, that's what I need to see. As soon as Terry gets on the grid is when I can find out what's up. Terry Crouch, please get in your car. No, I'm kidding. You do your thing, buddy. Congratulations to our drivers, and good luck, everybody. I don't have a mic set.
Terry's on, if you want to double check.
Oh, yep. All right, here.
While he's doing that, we'll take a look at once again through the standings. So we have, should be 15 cars on the grid. Terry Crouch in first, George Sandman in second, Brandon Waters for third, Sam Hinchy and Wayne Roberts for fourth and fifth, respectively. David C. Payne, Brian Ostrich, Amir Saw, David Blair, Kenneth Estep, Callum McLeod, Lonnie Jameson, Andrew White, Thomas Dudek, and Tyson Landis. That's 15 cars out for the patron race. Jason, Heiko, PS4 Deadman, Ronaldo, and Alessia. Ronaldo, I probably didn't catch because you're in bed, but thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it. And Sean, welcome back. Everything working?
Yeah, we're here. We're ready.
We seem to be good.
I'm just gonna put this on Brandon Waters. I'm just gonna get myself situated here. I don't know why it's showing me all those cameras. It shouldn't be.
Did you press Control F12?
Yeah. We'll see. We're good. We're good. Here we go. Here we go, everyone. We should be rolling out behind that Porsche safety car in just a moment.
Yeah, here's your 3-second countdown, I think, here kicking off. There we are.
It lost my camera, so that's okay.
Restarts.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly what it is. Yep. All right. There we go. There's Terry Crouch in the number 59, blue and white. Just familiarize yourselves with the grid. There is George Sandman in the 06 black car. And starting in third position there in the 48 is Brandon Waters. Sam Hinchy, second row outside in fourth. Wayne Roberts, actually a jump. That's David Payne starting in sixth. And there's Wayne Roberts. So here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, they're off. Terry Crouch with a strong start, running in the lead. Sandman immediately tucking into the draft. Waters is there as well. Hinchy, Payne, Roberts, Ostrich, and Assad on the outside into T1 for our first little bit of two-wide action here as they come through. Everybody gets through clean. No shakeup in the leaders yet. Terry Crouch managing to hold off Sandman for the first corner, but Sandman's right there and getting closer as we come in through T2.
Oh, little contact there. It looks like that was Amir Assad, and in the 24 car of Brian Ostrich, of course, in those familiar colors for Brian Ostrich. Both of them off track and underway, it looks like.
Estep and Jameson, another little bit of contact, or maybe just a slide out there, but they were also getting going as you were speaking there. They're now coming through the last corner into this final stretch here, or into the back stretch rather. Moving up through the grid to take a look at our leaders. They're weaving on through the back straight as they get ready for this hairpin here at the end. Terry Crouch with a dominant line on the inside and holding off strong. Yeah, Sandman looking for the outside, though. He's definitely got the run. He's staying really, really close. Waters just kind of probably watching for his opportunity. David Payne goes around.
That was David Payne. Oh.
And
He's
another
right at fifth spot, I do believe.
Yeah, Wayne Roberts from fifth, I believe, actually. And Sam Hinchy at a fourth. So now the grid is fully shooken up. From the back right now, we have Ostrich coming through and actually passing Amir Assad, who had a little bit of an issue there coming into that left-hander. There we have Sam Hinchy ahead, Wayne Roberts, Ken Estep, and Lonnie Jameson. We'll have to wait to see how this all shakes up. Thomas Dudek now in a bit of a bubble after all the shakeups. We're coming through the last corner as we catch up to Tyson Landis and Andrew White. We have David Blair on the inside of David Payne. Some Dave on Dave going stuff at the moment here. Oh, sorry, that's
Actually,
Callum. Callum side by side. Callum, sorry. Callum and Dave Blair. Yeah, Dave Payne's up ahead of Blair here now in fourth position, so everything's starting to shake out. We did see the leaders.
Comment on David Payne, because somehow with all the shenanigans, he's jumped up into the fifth position and did not lose a whole lot of time. You can see there's a gap between him and that top four group, but he had to get through a couple of cars, I do believe, in order to get in this position, and he's doing a pretty good job of hanging on all alone out there.
You were speaking about cold tires, and I think that was a major factor for these guys. There was a lot of spinning, but not a lot of big contact. We don't see a crazy amount of damage. The only one in the pits is Amir, and that's early on. We still got, 10, 11 laps left to go, and these guys should be able to hang on here. Looking at the leaders, they are almost three wide.
Caleb
You've got
looking to
Crouch
the
on
inside
the
of Dave
inside.
Blair. Fighting for that 5th position. Looks like Caleb got position on the inside pass there.
Yep, holding it strong. He's now going to be up in 5th in that number 7 car. And moving up again, Dave Payne in a bit of a bubble, but certainly not safe.
Somebody was around. Oh my God, was that Terry Crouch?
No, Crouch is up at the front here. Oh, yeah. There he goes. He is out.
There's Terry Crouch. No, that's
Brandon Water. Brandon Water.
It was Brandon who went around. I saw a car on the wall there. Okay, unchanged up front. Sorry about that. Terry Crouch leading the way. George Sandman right behind. And now David Payne is in 3rd position. So it's Brandon Waters. Absolutely who's absent from that top 4 group.
Yep, from 3rd, it looks like he's going to be back to about 8th or so as he catches the dirt actually and goes a little bit wide, ends up getting shook up. And I believe that was Landis that got shook up by Waters in the long run there. Landis going to lose position now. Sam Hinchy, Jameson, and Estep all catching up. I think Jameson got the position there out of that.
Oh,
so more action, lots of cars spinning.
Yeah, I see the 9 car is in the 9. My camera work was fantastic. It might not have been the 9. Sorry about that. All right, back up front. I'm back up front again. Terry Crouch. George Sandman looking inside, but Terry's carrying more speed. We saw that on the Little Track Summit, that inside-outside, where the inside was slow and low, and it was really the outer being able to carry the speed line that was working in those passing-type corners. Speaking of, here comes George Sandman up beside Terry Crouch, fighting for the lead.
And he's going to have it on entry, but he can't hold it all the way through that wide. He's going to let Terry back out front again, but there are 2 following left-hand corners that Sandman now has the inside for. Terry going for the over-under, but not quite with the pace to catch it. Does tuck inside, though, and going to have a bit of a run going into this back stretch. If he plays it right, he has a fairly good run, but that wiggle there is going to cost him. He's not going to have it. And we got 2 more little hairpins left to go.
And look
before
who's
the
just
last
hanging out in 3rd, David Payne. David, bring on the pain.
Just watching for opportunities at this point. He managed to gain a few just by staying safe. Moving back through the grid, we can take a look at the other guys. That's Callum McLeod back in 4th position. David Blair right behind him, though, rounding out that top 5. And again, Andrew White, the next bubble. But again, just like Payne, watching those 2 ahead, probably waiting for a position. We'll see him get a little bit pushy as they start to get a small amount closer together. Waters not giving it up yet. He's in 7th at the moment, down 4 from his start, but doing well with some recovery.
Nice
Thomas
recovery.
Dudek in the 8th position. He's up 6 at the moment, so he's starting near the back, but doing extremely well. Lonnie Jameson up 3 for 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is Tyson Landis. Right behind him, though, Sam Hinchy with actually a bit of a run, decides to check up going into T1 there. Not going to make the pass. Ken Estep in 12th. Wayne Roberts is back in 13th with Ryan Ostrike and Amir Assad rounding out the rest of the field. Terry Crouch and Sandman still going at it.
Great save there by Tyson Landis as he put 2 wheels off and got quite a death wiggle, but pulled it together and kept up his speed because it's Sam Hinchy, who, another one of the cars who's running up front, had himself a little bit of trouble now trying to claw himself back. And, as we saw last month's race, every position's going to count, because unless somebody locks us up with the 1st or 2nd finish in each race, then we are going to see it come down to points, and every position will count for our final tally. 3 wide, Andrew White, Dave Danger Blair, and Caleb McLeod, with Andrew White taking the inside and picking up 2 spots there. Andrew White on that new CSL DD. Obviously, I'm not sure if this is placebo effect or if it's actually paying off, but Andrew White, who's really more known for his oval driving, is really looking great here in little Formula E and making a double pass there in the heat of the battle, as now we have 4 cars. Brandon Waters 3 spots back of
Almost
Andrew.
higher Brandon Waters is with Callum McLeod, as you spoke of it. That little incident there with those guys gaining those passes is going to cause Brandon to be up right close now, threatening 4th position as they hit that front stretch. It was a hell of a battle that we saw, and Brandon Waters going to poke his nose in right now going into that 1st corner. Callum's going to be on the defense.
And meanwhile, up front, we still see more of the same. Terry Crouch leading the way. George Sandman just looking at bobbing and weaving, showing up in both of his mirrors. Oh, Andrew White goes off track and gives up those spots that he had earned. And then he gets into Calum.
Contact with Calum. That's going to be Calum and Andrew both out. Andrew actually gets
looks like somebody
caught up by
smashed him pretty
Tyson.
good. Looks like 83 of Dudek might have really T-boned him. All I saw was the end result of Andrew White spinning it. Oh yeah, Dudek's car is a mess.
His car is, Thomas's car is actually not doing well at this point. Unfortunately, he's going to have to limp it back if he can. And it doesn't look like
now that wheel just fell off entirely.
Yeah,
Right, so big mix-up. I see 3 cars currently getting towed as a few incidents piling on top of each other. But meanwhile, up front, it's all clean. Terry Crouch still leading the way. George Sandman all over his gearbox, like I said, showing up at both mirrors at times. And David Payne watching the race.
A second faster that last lap, David Payne. So he's definitely just biding his time, looking for either to keep his position or to grab it late. We'll have to watch and see whether he decides to push forward on the last couple laps here. Brandon Waters, though, now back up to that 4th position. He got Dave Blair out of that little bit of scuffle that went on between Andrew and Callum, and now back up and close enough that maybe he can threaten the leaders depending on how hard they fight. There's 10 seconds ahead of him, but we're halfway through the race, so if we're halfway through and they gained it, they're halfway through, they can lose it.
I see these guys are just murdering that engine on shifts and big puffs of smoke coming out. Oh, I'm watching from the roll bar of David Payne, who has the best seat in the house right now, including better than mine, because he's out there with his heart rate beating and racing. Watching George Sandman make the pass for the lead, and it looks like he made it stick. We now have a change of position up front. Terry Crouch now going to be able to get into George Sandman's mind, showing up in both mirrors, with David Payne still the recipient of the great view here.
And David actually running the fastest lap of the race with a 1:58.32 behind them that last lap. So those two fighting is just making David faster. Looking like it's going to be a hell of a sprint for the end here as they go too wide down the backstretch. Once again, Sandman dropping back. We've seen this before already. You have to wonder if these guys aren't trying different things to see whether they need to be ahead or behind going into these corners for that last stretch. David Payne now being safe. He definitely could have pushed on the inside there, but decided not to. I'm thinking Sandman and Crouch still going at it.
Literally checking up with this great battle going on. I saw another car stuck on the inside wall there. Like I said, just an extra stab of the brake will make this car reverse itself and go backwards. It's a tough car. It is the little Formula Wii, but it is difficult. Oh, contact between Terry and George Sandman. Just a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. Everybody's underway. David Payne gets up in a 2nd place.
And Sandman doesn't lose much, so you know he's still got the draft off of Payne. That was a pretty... I don't want to say you expect contact, but when they're racing this hard, you kind of expect contact, right? So a little bit of a bump there, nothing major. Everybody's still rolling.
Looks
feeling
like
good.
Everybody's good, but I wonder if everybody's as good as they were, other than David Payne, who got through that very clean.
Well, and Payne most likely, I think, will yield the position at a proper spot. And I think if we watch on the backstretch here, we're going to see Payne pull to the side and Sandman dip under. He's already taking the corners wider, smoother, probably being easier on the tires. I don't see a strong defense through him. Yeah, he's running pretty lazy. He wasn't super hard on the apex. I don't think he's going for hard defense here. We're going to see Sandman probably pass him here. There it is. Looking on the inside. If he gets the run out, he's got it. Tuck back into that draft. Payne going to watch for the positions again with another few laps left to go. Oh, but the run's not there. You did say there might be damage, and it's looking like there might be.
Well, and with that outside run, David Payne carried a lot of speed off the corner. Then he went right into the line of Terry Crouch. So Terry Crouch might have had one of those NASCAR style, who do I help with the draft opportunities.
That is possible. Sandman getting it in the long run, though, as Payne yields. And we're back to the Terry Crouch, George Sandman leader battle with David Payne behind. And if you recall, Brandon Waters was 9 seconds back only 2-3 laps ago, and he's now 5 seconds back. So things could be changing here.
Yeah,
Brandon Waters catching up.
Too much racing, too many little half spins, and all of a sudden we're going to have a 4 or 5 car battle for the lead Brandon Waters doing a great job. Again, it could come down to final points. Great salvage effort after a little bit of trouble early on. And David Blair, you got to keep your eyes on him because here he is running in the 5th spot. And although that does sound like 5th place, you never know what happens in race number 2. And it was a scenario much like this. They came back to kind of let him be the consistent race winner of the weekend. Ooh, I just kicked my camera. That's not super good. That kind of ruins the effect.
As you get that fixed. In behind David Blair as well, you have Thomas Dudek and Callum McLeod. Those guys are maybe a lap down, not fighting for points, but they're only a second separating them, so there's still some position battles going, which has at least given them some entertainment. In behind them, 6th position, Sam Hinchy is the first one out of that top 5, but he's got Lonnie Jameson right behind him, and as we take a look, Jameson's actually going to jump ahead there and make the pass. That's 6th and 7th, switching positions. Kenneth Estep in 8th, looking strong, doing well. And Tyson Lattis for 9th, with Wayne Roberts running out the top 5. Get ourselves back to our leaders once again to take a check-in while they're too wide, of course. As always, Sandman and Crouch down that back straight. And Terry's going to take it on the inside. And it doesn't look like we're going to see... Well, we might. Yeah, George opened it up. He's going for it on the left-hand side again. This is pretty much just repeating itself. These guys coming through too wide through the left-handers. One of them's going to get the dominant run here. Crouch seems to be coming out on top more often than not, though, putting out a good show. Strong against Sandman here. But you have to wonder, is Sandman baiting him?
Well, and again, these guys, like you said, we were seeing the same thing lap after lap. And it's like, I'm not sure it matters right now what position you're in. You have this amount of race to realize that we're all on an even playing field. So who's going to be able to play this little chess match down to the last move and be in the position it takes to get that nose ahead at the line? I mean, it sounds so simple, but at the same time, look at how evenly matched, and look at how either one of them can seem to make a move and make a move stick, only to give it up a turn or two later. And then you've got the David Payne factor, which I'm sure he's quite content watching the great show from 3rd spot right now. But as the time ticks down and it gets into crunch time, that's when he's going to start becoming a factor in what is a race between two. And I'm sure making the both of them very nervous when it comes to 3-man battle. The cars in the tracks made out of whoopee cushions. Oh, Alesh, enjoy your drink. You should have them put it up on the hotel bar TV for everybody. Great race going on, very entertaining.
Right. These two running Sandman and Crouch once again. Here we go. Sandman in the draft. Crouch holding the inside. Just making sure he's where he knows he has a better line. Coming into the last corner, we're probably going to see Crouch back off on this one. Usually they're going in too wide, but he doesn't seem to be pushing as hard this one. Going for an over-under, trying to get that right-hand side, but not with enough of a run. You can see him lining it up, though. Maybe getting ready. We're on lap 9 with, I believe, 11 to go, so we should have only 2 more to go this time by as they come on to the final little stretch here before our last bit of corners.
You know,
and
we've talked about them searching, exploring, setting up this chess match of a finish that we have coming. That was by far the lowest I've seen Terry go down that back stretch to protect the draft and position. Maybe just testing one more little trick to see what he has up his sleeve against George Salmon and David Payne. Again, do not rule out David Payne. He's fallen a little bit back at this point, which is a little bit of a surprise. He's definitely going to want to close that gap up because it seemed like at any moment he could just stick his nose into the mix and do like we saw. They're coming up on Andrew White, but we saw Andrew White take a 3-man battle to a position of picking up 2 spots. And if you do it that right moment, he could easily win this race. Well, maybe not so easily, but it could be done. So I'd like to see him close up that gap. But lap car will be a factor in not too much more time. But we are down to just 1 lap, I believe.
yeah, it should be about a lap and a half. They're coming through that last final right-hand corner. It's going to be a little bit of a decreasing apex kind of deal in the early and then opening it up, trying to get as much speed as you can on that back stretch. And as again, Terry going on strong on the inside, really, really strong on the inside, holding very tight. Sandman does have the draft, but he's opting not to stick in it. He's going for the more typical line to the left. And Andrew White is definitely going to be a factor on this last lap here. We're coming through to close out 10. Once again, 11 laps in this race. Coming into the final corner, Sandman and Crouch. Sandman finally getting that right-hand side, but not with enough of a run to hold it. Looks like he's trying to just find places to gain momentum. Terry shaking it up a little bit, pulling a different kind of defense than we've seen the last few times through this complex. As they come on to that last stretch, Andrew's going to just drop right off, and that's going to take Payne's opportunity away unless something really drastic happens here. But still, third position's pretty good for points. Again, we're doing the golf thing. Lowest points after 2 races is going to be the winner of the trophy for this patron race here in August.
And it also means that Davey gets to start in front of those two as things stay as they are right now.
Which may or may not be good. We'll have to see. Everybody, if you guys want to remember or go take a look back at our last patron race, Crouch had a bit of an issue, we'll say, on the start with the start procedures, made some passes before the start finish line and ended up having to pit for a penalty. So things can still shake up, even if they're ahead of them.
So now the big question is, do we have the white flag?
We do. And it is Terry Crouch in the lead at the moment with George Sandman right close behind, and David Payne now 3 seconds behind and pretty well out of it. So we'll keep our eyes on the leaders for this last little bit, and then we'll cross back as they cross the line. Terry Crouch with a mad run at the moment. Sandman's actually 3/10 behind going into this last corner before the back stretch.
Looking for... It somehow looked like these guys have stepped it up, and they are not driving the same lines. They are not driving the same level of aggression that we've seen for the previous laps. Because it is all on the line. Just a matter of corners before the finish. But you gotta finish with a 2-race format.
Sandman did stay in the draft through the whole back stretch. This is the strongest lead he's had going into the last corner yet, but he does go for the over-under. He's not going to get it. He's going to have the left-hand side going into this last complex here. He's going to hold it through the first one, but the second one is the dangerous one here. Crouch actually has a lot of run. You take it with a late apex, you hit the green there, so he's still going to hold it. It's going to be interesting. It's an inverted 8 drivers going into the next series. Oh, and Sandman getting a little bit loose. That's going to secure first position for Crouch. Terry Crouch in the number 59 with no mistakes through the last 2 right-hand corners does have this one as Sandman gets a little bit loose under the braking zone there. Coming through the right-hand kink, Terry Crouch, congratulations, through the last corner and onto the back stretch. Let's move through the field so we can see where everybody's at. Terry Crouch with the lead. George Sandman coming in 2nd place. And David Payne's going to be in 3rd. Wait, no, Payne's going to take 2nd. He's got it. Payne does get 2nd. Patient Payne with the 2nd position. The spin out on George Sandman's part put him too far down. And Sandman's going to be in 3rd. Brandon Waters for 4th. David Blair is going to be our 5th place driver. Sam Hinchy for 6th. Callum McLeod there lapped in 14th. Kenneth Estep in 8th. Thomas Dudek lapped in 15th. Ryan Ostrich is just moving up a position, actually. I think he is grabbing 8th. As we have Lamy Jameson also either out of fuel or made a mistake. I think putzing it here down the last stretch.
Maybe blown motor?
Maybe. Amir Assad, I don't think is close enough to get him. And yet, no. Amir's not close enough to get him. So here we go. Lonnie Jameson crossing the line for 9th position. Amir Assad, if he holds it out, is going to be in 10th with Tyson Landis for 11th. Wayne Roberts for 12th. And again, Andrew White was lapped there, but he's taken home 13th for this one. That's Callum McLeod and Thomas Dudek rounding out the top 15. Our drivers for the day. It was a good first race. Lots of action, lots of spinning in the first bit, but lots of good fighting later on.
That was. So, yeah, Lash Aspinall, and I know Devin covered it, but so the first race, the race we just witnessed, was a 20-minute timed race, and the next race will only be 15 minutes, so a little more intense. And then to add to the mix, we're going to invert the top 8. Actually, I was going to change the format. Now I'm kind of liking it. It just increases the intensity, like puts them in the boiler pot right off the bat.
Long race, short race. We have a 5-minute break, so now would be a good time if anybody has to use the washroom, if you need to take a break and stretch or whatever. If you guys are watching it, you guys got to grab some snacks and stuff like that. Would be a good time. 5 minutes before the next race, and again, 15 minutes in inverted top 8.
Awesome. I should refill my... I don't have any commercial break or card to put
I can take care of that for you. How about that? Oh, no, wait, we're on YouTube. I can't take care of that for you.
I thought of that, too. I was like, no, I have no automated things I can do. I didn't... I know what I can do. I can bring
Follow
up
the leader.
the spinning trophy. Here, we're gonna take a quick break here. I'm gonna bring up the spinning trophy. Now, this is not the trophy that's on the line for today. This is the trophy that is actually the road trophy that will be to the winner of this season road racing championship. It will have an identical trophy that is the oval winner. So we'll have 2 trophies on the line for road and oval for each. Of course, a trophy on the line for today's race. So, all right, take a quick.
You have Spotify, yeah? Oh, okay. Never mind then. I was going to say I have music for you, but that's fine.
Actually,
At
I'm
least
going
you
to
got
take
that. We
down
got
the
the thing for
trophy
it.
and I'm going to say we can walk away and we wouldn't even know it because it would just be, like you said, focused on practice.
Sounds good. You guys got 3 minutes then.
There we go. Yeah. All right. Be right back, everybody. Show some
Seems like-
highlights for the race. I would have had to have written down the moments precisely.
Yeah.
To really find them out. I was thinking about that, Alesh. That might not be a bad thing to do in the future. I think in the future no, actually, this is fine. Normally, what we'll all have is just something that comes up saying "We'll be right back," and it'll show you exactly what you're looking at right here.
Yeah,
Except I'm gonna
SDK
put on
Gaming,
posters.
Alesh and I kind of talked about that. There is a thing that we can do eventually, Alesh. You mentioned that SDK Gaming thing in the Discord. That's what that kind of thing is for. Get the view numbers up, share the show, get the like button hit the subscribe button, check out patreon.com/thesimpit, and then, we can definitely look into the stuff that does that. It's just a lot of work and a little bit more money. So when we get it figured out and when the show's doing well, we'll definitely do it. These streams are more for the patrons, though. It's more for the enjoyment than it is for the views. So that's the deal. With that said, though, guys, we're taking a break. You guys have about 2.5 minutes, and I think Sean's running to the washroom, grabbing a coffee. I'm gonna run to the washroom as well. You guys will see us in just a moment.
What's our time check on that?
Welcome back. 20 seconds.
He blinked out. Oh, there it was. 2 wheels off. That there had to have been more to that.
I think he just had a spin. Amir, earlier on? I think it was
Yeah.
just a spin.
And then he was off again there. Then he blinked out on me. They're gridding up. 50 seconds.
Yep, it's time.
All right, we're gonna go back to live. There you go, Alesh. All right, let's put this on. Actually, finishing in 8th was Amir Assad. I believe Amir is going to be on the point.
10th. is his position for this one. That's Brian Ostrike on the point for race number 2.
There it is.
Yeah, Brian's in first, Kenneth Eastep for third, and second, Sam Hinchy in third. David Blair and Brandon Waters round the top 5 after the inversion. And then it's going to be George Sandman, David Payne, and Terry Crouch. Those are going to be the 3 to watch. David, keep it safe and not have any pain.
There we go.
And then George Sandman and Terry Crouch pounding him. Should be interesting.
Where's Ken? There's Ken. All right. He's actually gridded up in second, but his nose must be slightly ahead because that's where my camera thinks he is. Anyway, there's Brian Ostrike.
That's right.
Technically.
First position gets the inside for this one, so he starts out a little bit behind when they start here, but he has the inside for T1.
Sam Hinchy, who's real quick in practicing qualifying and had some bad luck. He's going to be starting in 3rd spot. So let's watch him. Brandon Waters starting in 5th spot. He looks very, very good. Right next to him is Terry Crouch, who won race number 1.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Lonnie Jameson, Amir Assad, Tyson Landis, Wayne Roberts, Andrew White, Callum McLeod, Thomas Dudek, all graded in their finishing positions from the last one, from 9th to 15th. But that top 8 again, inverted. So here we go as race number 2 kicks off. It should be 8.1, so 8 or 9 laps. It might be 9. We'll have to see how that goes once these guys get racing.
Ostrike. That's a good jump.
Yeah, great start. Kenneth Eastep doing pretty good, holding on that outside there. Probably not trying to get in anybody's way here. David Blair being careful there on the outside behind. And we've got a lot of shakeup. Here we go. Terry Crouch.
I can't even keep track.
George Sandman, Dave Blair, and Brandon Waters all 2x2x2x2. So the 2 coming out on top right now is Ostrike and Hinchy. But right behind them, Terry Crouch is on the right-hand side of Ken Eastep, making his move for 3rd position. Sandman is in 4th at the moment, but he's got Brandon Waters right up close behind him. These guys shaking up too wide once again. Onto the back stretch.
Off track.
Here we go. Moving back, we have a little bit of too wide out of Lonnie Jameson and Tyson Landis in the back, and we have Kenneth Eastep and George Sandman too wide ahead of them. And then our leaders, here we go. Hinchy on the inside with Ostrike on the outside. But we saw with Sandman how this worked out. But he didn't have Terry Crouch right up tight on the inside. Ostrike.
Well, now he will be, because look at Terry Crouch in 3rd.
He's there. Yeah, Sandman right behind him. These two both real fast, but Hinchy and Ostrike battling ahead of them is not going to make this easy. All the drivers able to maintain a very similar pace. We've got a heck of a cluster going on, and we've got contact. Terry Crouch square, though. Square on Brian Ostrike's rear end there. That's going to create quite a cluster all the way up, though.
Looks like Sandman might have been caught up in that as well, because we have a total shake-up, really. I mean, we have Hinchy out front, and that's Brandon Waters now in 2nd place when they get scored at the line here.
Yeah, and Amir Assad from 10th all the way to 3rd. He's going to be feeling good about this one after having struggles in the last one. Terry Crouch in 4th now, looking to go on the inside, on the outside. Amir Assad is going to defend on this one.
George Sandman going to the inside, looking to make up some ground, and checks up on that as he hits the curbing. All sorts of shake-up. We saw guys go from like 8th to 3rd and back to 8th, and a total shake-up out from Sam Hinchy now.
Terry Crouch was getting aggressive as you were talking there, trying to get himself past Assad. Assad, though, no less aggressive. No dirty racing, clean and hard, though, as these guys came tires to tires, and Crouch actually did not manage to get the position. I believe that is Sam Hinchy off in the dirt. And we've got another spin. Ken Eastep goes around with a couple of contacts there, and Andrew White as well going to be off with Thomas Dudek. That's 4 to 6 cars. That's like 6 cars, I think, right there. That just had a little
got a tank slapper and went around.
And that's going to further shake things up. Brandon Waters now in the lead with Amir Assad in 3rd, and Terry Crouch trying to get that position off of Amir.
So it looked like Eastep went around on his own after that in the same spot as Hinchy. Andrew White then got into him, and that collected Tom Dudek. So we did see a little nightmare back in the back of the grid. And look at the mid-pack. They're still 2-3 wide down the backstretch.
Yep, Tyson Landis in that 7th position there is on the outside defending with Lonnie Jameson right behind him, David Payne right ahead. Payne, we know, able to keep her clean and very, very close to contact with Tyson Landis on that one. At the moment, Rodder's pretty much checking out, but you're right, everybody's pretty much all bunched up. This inverted 8 really doing a lot to make things happen. Amir Assad in 2nd position. Terry Crouch real close behind in 3rd, might have the run here, but Assad shown himself to be very defensive, so if he doesn't really use that run, it's not going to work out for him. Now, do we see Crouch hold them on the inside, or does Amir leave them in there? Yep. Amir's going to hold really, really tight. He does not widen out the corner. That's going to work to his disadvantage as Terry Crouch takes that 2nd position away. But Assad still has the draft. Catching the dirt, though. And Sandman has to avoid. Sandman
leaving all
Crouch
over the place.
Yeah, David Payne having to check up to avoid a little bit. Landis also really, really close as we come through the small S's before this long right-hander and back stretch. Having to check up. We've got a 4-car battle right now, running from about 3rd position back. And actually Landis getting a little bit loose. That's going to be David Payne taking him on the inside, and I think Lonnie Jameson's even going to have a run to get himself up there. So this top 5, kind of 6 area is really quite a hot battle. Callum McLeod right now in 7th or 8th, I think, at the moment, running behind them as well, also going to start getting a sniff. So we've got a lot going on in the middle of the pack. If you move yourself back up and live, we've got a minute
now I'm back. I'm watching
George Sandman position. That's okay. You were just getting a future forecast. It's all good. We're like weathermen. Aaron Waters currently taking the lead, going down that final little stretch before the final complex, and he's 1.2 seconds ahead of Terry Crouch at the moment. But George Sandman has got that 3rd position. So do we see Crouch get Waters before Sandman catches Crouch? And what happens if not?
That was Tyson Landis who got the back, and Amir Assad sitting on cover. Amir was looking really strong up there, let Sandman go by, and that just put him in a position, and now he's no longer in the hunt.
That said, we also got Lonnie Jameson and Brian Ostreg off there before the last corner. Another little bit of an incident pushing these guys back. They're rejoining, and Thomas Dudek coming around from that rear position, going to gain himself a couple of freebies there as everybody starts to shake up. Let's move back up to our leaders. Brandon Waters with a 151.303 on that last lap. That's lap 4 that they're on now. Terry Crouch with a 150.927. That's fastest lap of the race. George Sandman behind him with a 152. Have to wonder if something's happened or if he was just struggling that lap. Callum McLeod in 4th position, and Amir Assad is back up to 5th, so he might not be running with the top, but he is running fairly well. Tyson Landis, though, is hot on his tail in that number 16 car in 6th position. We'll have to watch and see what kind of run he gets here. He's got a bit of a run, and he's going to have the draft, so we'll have to see how early he goes for the pass.
A little grudge match between these two. Amir Assad's probably going to be a little damaged, too, from that. Well, both of them probably have a little bit of damage from that nose-to-tail contact they did have.
Yeah, you have to wonder. The contact was square. You know, like when you see the bumps from the rear and the front there, the tire is pretty well met, rubber on rubber. So you have to wonder if there's too much or.
And I'm only seeing a scratch, not a dent on Tyson's cone.
Yeah, they're not missing. These things, they could be missing tips. David Payne right behind them now, so that we've got a 3-way battle for the top 5. Amir Assad, Tyson Landis in the center with David Payne right up behind them, and he's going to go to the outside, which puts him on the inside for this next corner. Tyson Landis, though, closing hard there, and Payne very intelligently making sure he doesn't get his nose in there and caught as we come through that kind of game.
In a pack is so difficult because everyone has a different line, and I don't think there is a right line through that right-hander, and it just seems to really cause braking and accordion effect type problems there.
Yeah, I mean, both those, because you've got the left and to the right, and if there's the line you take out of the left sets you up for the right, and you can take probably 2 or 3 different lines that are all just as quick depending on the situation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And David Payne to the inside. I think he's picked up a position on Tyson Landis, and Danger Blair. Yeah, not quite as right. And Tyson fighting back to the inside.
Yeah, as you say, you might have a dominant run coming out, but that doesn't really matter if the next person has a good run on the exit.
That's what's so awesome about these cars and racing them in a pack against guys you know and trust and are evenly matched against.
They stayed too wide all the way back, and it looks like David Payne going to come out on top, but David Blair's right there as well. And actually, we've got contact. Blair coming over, and he's crashing into Landis.
Ow! Oh, look out,
be
Sam
a big
Hinchey.
contact.
Ow!
Ow! Yeah, he's caught up in it as well now.
Was that Sam?
Yeah, that was Sam indeed. Kenneth Estep grabbing a few freebies out of that. Unfortunate to see it. Dave's going to be kicking himself.
Oh, Terry Crouch is going to the front. We missed that. Well, you guys didn't. Me and Devin did.
Yeah, back up on our leader, Terry Crouch passing Brandon Waters, and he has about a 6/10 gap at the moment, but you can expect that. Terry Crouch running the fastest lap of the race, both of the last laps, with a 150.558 for this one, so he was pushing it hard. Right now, Sandman running in third position. It's going to take a lot for him to catch up to Crouch at this point.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's going to, if there's anyone who can, it's him, and if Brandon Waters can just even give Terry Crouch a look in each mirror here and there, even if he's not going to make a move, just to make him stay on his defensive edge, it could be all it takes for Sandman to reel them back in.
Very true, yeah, and the draft is strong. And we also just saw a pretty big shakeup with that accident. There's going to be a lot of tows, so that might move things around a little bit. Not that's going to hurt Terry and Brandon immediately, but when those guys come out of the pits, it could be traffic.
So O-Strike and 15th is running between them. So it is Caleb McLeod, and that number 7 Crayola Blue Crayon is running in 4th place. And then that battle between Amir Assad and David Payne now going on for 5th spot.
David with a good run on the exit there too. If he decides to drop into the draft on this one, I think he could take it. Actually, he doesn't even need to. Look at that.
He's
just staying on the left-hand side. But these cars both taking out about the same speed, so we'll have to see. This is that same position we've seen them go into time after again. How aggressive is Assad, and how well can Assad take the next two left-handers on the outside?
Yeah, he got a good run, and Payne not holding the outside line. So that's where we've seen the move, is to hold the outside line to give you the inside edge going into this section, which seems to be the payoff move.
Infield Care Centers released Sam Hinchey. Sam Hinchey is okay. He's got a couple of scratches, but he's walked away. Tough to see it, man. That sucks, buddy. It was good racing, though, man.
Yeah, you were definitely looking fast today, for sure. All right, Brandon Waters all over the gearbox. Terry Crouch. George Sandman, is he closing up the gap? And he is the big question.
Not yet. 1.6 last lap. Now he's at 1.8, so he doesn't seem to be closing. Must be struggling with a bit of a damaged car. We've got a 151.059. Yeah, he's got it. But Terry, we know, is very strong on the defense. I would say that we don't quite have it yet, and it is going to be 9 laps for these guys from the looks of things. It's very close though. 8.02 on the Caps projected thing. Whoa, very, very close there. Crouch a little bit loose. Brandon not really able to choose a direction, having to check up. This is second last lap, maybe third.
You know what's fascinating? Brandon's a good buddy of mine, and he drives heavy equipment. And like I said, he's been working like 18-hour days for like 8 months straight, and finally back home in sim racing again. What a transition from heavy equipment to the Formula Wii!
Yeah.
Because it is a wee little car. Brandon looking really good, making a move to the outside after the draft. But we've seen this. Terry is well versed in the inside-outside here after doing it for, I don't know, about 15 laps. Every lap, it seems, he's been in this position.
Yeah, I mean, Terry's doing well on the defense, but you can also see him pushing really hard. He got really loose on the grass there. Waters has plenty of time in the draft to sneak up. And if he's been paying attention to what Terry's defense is, he might have an idea on what Terry's going to do and might be able to shake him up. Sandman is gaining a little bit as well. But again, with only a lap or 2 left to go, we're going to have to see. This time across the line, I think we'll be able to find out. I don't know if Sandman's going to have what he needs to catch up.
1.6 back. He's gained up just a couple of tenths. That's not enough. In fact, he lost
7/10 gained that lap. So if there's 2 laps left, it's possible, but
still
we'll have to
showing
watch
8.1, so it's undecided when the end of this race is going to actually happen. It'll come down to when they cross the line. Crouch ahead of Brandon Waters.
Yeah, into T1. Brandon Waters still looking strong though. Crouch has a small amount of a better run on the exit, but there's plenty of draft on all of these little SE bits here. You can come through this left-hander with quite a bit of speed. DKR, good to see you, buddy. Welcome. Waters holding pretty strong. Sandman not catching up a bit this lap, so that means we're definitely going to have the two-way battle for the lead on this one unless something drastic happens. And we're looking at our second last lap now. Here we go. Brandon Waters right up close behind. Him to sniff that draft. Isn't going to get a good run, but he is going to be in the tow. Terry pretty much able to hold whatever line he wants to here. Looks like he's going to opt to wiggle to the right there just in case, but we should see him track back to the left.
Definitely going to force you to go around him on the left, it seems. He's holding that low line. And Brandon Waters really having to check up without not making a move in the draft there.
He's going for it, though. He's got that over-under momentum. Just catches him enough to keep Terry on the inside. That might be enough of an offline for Waters to grab the outside and then the in on the left-hander, but he can't quite keep the run. Again, lots of runoff on that one with that off track. If you go right out to the green with your outside tires, Crouch pretty confident there as well.
Oh, Crouch!
But he's spinning! Hands Waters the win!
Oh, I did not expect to see that from Terry Crouch at that juncture.
Now you have to wonder how far Crouch ends up back. If Crouch pushes now and he makes any more mistakes, this could cause a shakeup because Crouch pretty much was in it for the win there, but Terry might not have it. As long as he keeps it consistent
George
now.
Sandman in second place, and the Brandon definitely had to check up there, and that allowed Sandman to close up. And this will be the final lap, I do believe.
The white flag waves with 5/10 roughly between Brandon Waters and George Sandman as we come through the first corner. It's only a half a second. Into the left-hander, George Sandman probably going to be pushing hard on this one at this point. He has the chance to win it right here, I believe. It's going to be all down to the points. We'll have to see in the long run. George Sandman catching up by a 10th in this stretch here. It's all going to come down to the exit of this long right-hand corner, tight early into the apex. Sandman getting on the gas early, getting that run. If he tucks back into the draft now, there he goes. He's in it.
A lot of speed to the outside and then got all the way over to that draft very quickly.
Yeah, and he's going to hold Waters inside. He's not widening out the corner. Waters forced to stay on the inside. He's going to have a really big struggle under the braking zone. He widens it out during the braking zone, knowing that Waters has to hold the right-hand side. He's got that left hand and all that experience battling with Terry, which is going to mean that Sandman takes it for the lead right now as we come through our final complex. This is the last little straight. Then we've got a left, right, kink, and a right, and away we go. Waters not giving it up, though.
That was a very clinical pass there by George Sandman, doing everything to prevent Waters from being able to carry any speed, kind of pitching him down just the way you need to get it done. And in the end, knowing that gave him that inside double left-hand advantage, it gets him ahead of Waters just in the nick of time.
That's right, and no draft is going to save him at this point. Waters moving from first to second on the last lap. Still a really great race. Well done on both drivers' behalf. But in the long run, it's George Sandman with the congratulations for the win on our second race here. Brandon Waters in second with Terry Crouch bringing up our third position. That's going to be, I believe... Oh, wow, we got a few lap cars there.
Yeah.
I think that's Wayne Roberts coming in fourth. We'll have to wait. Wayne Roberts in seventh. There we go. Callum McLeod in fourth. David Payne in fifth. And then, Callum McLeod in fifth. Yeah, Wayne Roberts did move up to fourth. From seventh to fourth in the last lap. We missed whatever happened, but something happened there big on that last lap. Might have to go back and take a look as everything starts to shake out. George. So our final standings are as follows. George Sandman out front. Brandon Waters in second. Terry Crouch in third. Wayne Roberts for fourth. Callum McLeod in fifth. Thomas Dudek in sixth position. Kenneth Estep in seventh. Amir Saad for eighth. David Payne in ninth. And Andrew White rounding out your top 10 with Lonnie Jameson, David Blair, Brian Ostrike, Tyson Landis, and Sam Hinchy rounding out the rest of the grid. Sean's got to do a quick bit of math. I think it's Terry's.
Let's see. Terry has 1 and 3 for a total of 4 points. George Oh, we didn't think of tiebreak scenarios.
Yeah, did they get 4? Did they both
got
get
4 points.
They did. Oh, I was worried about... I thought it might happen with the other two.
I never determined a tiebreaker.
So Terry and George Do they each get their own trophy, or do we have to have another race?
Well, so here's I don't know if you guys saw this in the Olympics, but there was gosh, it was pole vault, I believe, maybe. They both tied, and so they're like, you guys can either have a jump off, or you can have you can share the medal, and they shared the medal. A 3-lap shootout, says Bucho. Wow, Devin, what do we do here? Quick math.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up for either. You can say, like, I don't know if we need to do 3 laps or even just one.
I think
like,
we have to do. I like the Olympic
but
version.
a quick little either a shootout or yeah, offer them. Say, do you guys want to share the trophy? Print it. You either print it half and half or print 2 with both
Oh my
names.
God, wouldn't that be hysterical? Oh my God, print them each half the trophy. Wouldn't that be a cruel, not funny, but very funny move?
That might be funny. You have to ask them. Yeah, do you guys want to split the trophy, or do you guys want to do a 3-lap shootout? We can set up a quick little hour-long.
Oh my God, let's see here. What channel am I in? I am. Let's see. Is anybody in there? Hold on, I'm gonna jump in. Hey, oh, I can't jump in general streaming without cutting you off.
Yeah, no, it's okay. If I jump out, it won't affect you, so I can go do the thing, and you can keep the stream going, and I'll come back.
Okay, you go try to get us a verdict.
I'll be right back.
I'm gonna deal with the chat. You deal with the racers, but neither of the people we need to talk to are there. All right, so here's a scenario, and this is the curse of. Here, let me turn off Devin's camera. We'll turn him back on when he comes back. This is the curse. Yeah, sudden death overtime, but we don't have it set up to do. So, you know, this room's already closing, and everybody's already left. So here's the scenario, and this is the curse. Brandon, that's where I'm leaning, and I'll tell you why. There was a karting event where I lost the top spot based on that. And it was because the second race was the final race, which was therefore more important than race number 1. That would be typical, I do believe. But again, so here's the scenario. I never for some reason I didn't think ahead that we could have a tie. And sure enough, we have a tie. Both George Sandman and Terry Crouch. One finished first in the first race, the other finishing third, and on the second race, the opposite finished first versus third. Michael Green, fastest lap. AMA does the same. Michael Green, I like that. I like that as a random, out of nowhere. So again, in the Olympics, I believe is the high jump, there was a tie, and they gave the 2 contestants the choice. An overall lap time combined and fastest. Terry, give it to George. Oh, Terry! So here are the scenarios. I print 2 trophies, one for both of you, and you share the championship. That's option A. I print 1 trophy, and I cut it down the middle. That's B. We go the AMA or karting rules, which was the final is more important or weighs more in a tiebreaker than the first race. Not more important, it's the tiebreaker. That would be an option. And strip to the waist and fight like men. And then the final option would be to have a race off. So let's see here. Laps. Let's look at something. I think George Sandman ran a 151. Oh wait, that's in practice. It needs to be in the race. So 50.9 in heat 1.
They figured it out.
50.9 in number 2.
Are you doing the total time?
No.
Sandman was saying you should be able to look up the total time.
That would be in the iRacing standings page, right?
I think so. I think it should. Yeah, you should see the total for each one, and you can just do the two totals. Whoever had the shortest time.
Okay. Now Terry says, based on karma of having punted O-Strike in the first lap, that karma declared him not the winner. What I was saying, there was a kart race weekend where I literally lost out by the same thing, though. The second race was the tiebreaker. You know, the finale is the tiebreaker in a tie.
Yeah. Yeah, so George would be the winner in that one, which is George mentioned that as well. So we can do that. Yeah, if Terry wants to give it to George, and that's what you want to do. So we just need to make sure. So
Terry's
next time, whoever's highest in the finishing point for the second race is the winner.
So now it's official. Because you know what? I gotta tell you guys. I hope this doesn't upset anybody, but I am pretty much leaning towards next month. We're gonna be in the Formula V at a different free track in our 2-race format, with the tiebreaker being the final race.
We have to do a rally cross race at some point, or a rally car thing.
Oh, the hill climb?
Well, even if hill climb or not, doesn't matter. We got to do something with Heiko.
Oh, you mean rally?
I told Heiko I'd hassle you for rally, and I know you're watching.
Not to be put on the spot or anything. All right. All right. Thank you, Terry Crouch. Thank you. Great job, Terry Crouch. Great job, George Sandman. Great job, Brandon Waters, David Payne. All sorts of guys really stepped up today. It looked like some really, really fun racing. I was actually a little jealous being here in the booth, but you know what? It was worth it, because what a fun event. And again, like I said at the beginning of the stream, a couple more of those and you can catch up. But as I was saying at the beginning, the whole point and the whole purpose of this event is for me to really show my appreciation for the patron team. These are the guys who really directly support the Simpit show with a little bit of financial help, as well as the people who give me ideas, talk me off the cliff, talk me off the ledge on a bad day. They're my friends. They're my co-racers, and they're a big part of our community here. So again, that's why we put on this special show once a month on the final Saturday of every month, with the trophy on the line, and me and Devin here calling the action. Thank you, Devin. Thank you, by the way, for being here and making it an extra special show with you contributing. Oh, that's still off. I can't bring your camera back on. So
thanks for letting me be loud.
You're still here, but you're not here. So anyway, that is going to do it for today's show. I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. It was some really great racing. And so as much as I do want to throw it, I will make it official right now. We have a lot of rally guys in our Simpit community. So next month will be a rally. Maybe not the rally they're thinking, but it's going to be a rally. And then we'll get back to the
rally. Maybe it'll be maybe it'll be WRC. Maybe it'll be iRacing. Maybe it'll be something else. We'll figure it out.
Absolutely. So who knows where? And then Art of Rally. You never know. You never know. So anyway, thank you all for being here. I want to congratulate George Sandman on picking up his first patron trophy, and get that final printing going right away, and then finally get these I'll order some boxes and get these trophies going. So Devin, thank you again. Thank you everybody out there for watching. If you like what we did, be sure to thumbs up, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so you find out when we go live and we have a new show hitting the press. Anyway, thank you for being here. Get out there, do some sim racing. Anything else from you, Devin?
This is the Simpit. I'm Devin Booth.
I'm Sean Cole, and we will see you on the track.
We did it. That's